What if I told you that the Apostles' miracles were never just acts of faith, but hermetic codes, hidden keys of a spiritual science that has remained concealed from ordinary eyes for millennia? What if every healing, every liberation, every transformation was, in truth, a ritual of conscious manipulation of reality? Today, prepare yourself, because we are about to pierce the veils and decode the true secret behind the so-called apostolic magic. Take a deep breath and hear the echoes of voices, vibrations of a faith that moves mountains. But now, with the eyes of awakened consciousness, we will see what lay behind every word, every gesture, every miracle. Before any transformation occurs in the external world, it must be born in the invisible temple of your mind. Before manifestation comes the seed. Before healing comes certainty. The certainty that does not waver, does not doubt, does not negotiate with fear. Imagine the scene. Peter before the lame man, at the beautiful gate of Jerusalem. Hundreds of attentive eyes. The man fallen, pleading eyes, perhaps expecting some coins, a crumb of hope. But Peter offers no gold, no silver. He offers something far greater. He does not ask, he does not plead, he decrees, with the force of one who knows, that the mind of the one who commands. Rise and walk. In that moment, the quantum field around vibrates. Particles respond. The man's body, once immobile, realigns, reconstructs, awakens. Why? Because before any muscular movement, there was a vibrational explosion originating from Peter's consciousness, directly into the heart of reality. And when, days later, Peter's shadow healed the sick in the streets, it was not sorcery, not luck. It was the domino effect of the universal mind in action. His mind, so saturated with certainty, so infused with intention, that even his aura, his energetic projection, his shadow carried the power of healing. Peter became a point of vibrational emission, a living transmitter of divine mentalism. And now, the question echoes directly to you. What are you projecting on the invisible screen of your reality? What kind of commands are you sending? Have you unknowingly reinforced scarcity, disease, limitation? Or are you training your mind to decree, to visualize, to feel the reality you truly wish to live? Remember, all creation begins with a simple thought, but thoughts fed with emotion and charged with intention become miracles in motion. Everything vibrates. Nothing stands still. Not for a second, not for an instant. Your voice, your thoughts, your emotions, everything is a dance of invisible waves, colliding, mixing, transforming into reality. Diseases? They are only off-key notes in the grand symphony of existence. A sick body is like an instrument, out of tune, playing a melody of pain, scarcity, imbalance. But then, Peter appears before Aeneas, a man who had been trapped for years, not by chains, but by a frequency of paralysis. And Peter, once again, does not ask, does not negotiate, he commands. Aeneas, Jesus Christ heals you. Rise and make your bed. In that exact moment, Aeneas' cells receive a new code. the vibration of health, of vitality, of action. It was not just words, it was waves of intention, charged with certainty, that traveled through the air, penetrated tissues, and realigned the biological orchestra of life. And as if that were not enough, now imagine Paul and Silas in a dark prison. With chains on their feet and cold walls around, but instead of fear, instead of despair, they sing, they pray, they vibrate. And then the unthinkable happens. The structure literally vibrates. The floor, the walls, the chains, everything begins to respond to that frequency explosion generated by faith, devotion, vibrational elevation. The prison doors open, the shackles fall. It was not stage magic, it was spiritual physics. It was the universe responding to a shift in frequency. And now, take a deep breath and ask yourself, could it be that the only thing still holding you back is the frequency you have been insisting on tuning into? Fear, doubt, resentment are stations of low frequency. But faith, gratitude, courage are channels that open doors, that dissolve chains, that transform reality. Everything in existence is dual. Everything has two poles, light and shadow, joy and sorrow, expansion and contraction, disease and healing, chaos and order. Opposites are merely two extremes of the same essence vibrating at different frequencies. And in the midst of it all appears the lame man, immobile, a living captive of one of existence's poles, stagnation. He was the physical symbol of all that does not move, does not progress, does not flow. But then, Peter, with a single command, a single vibration, transmutes, transforms, rewrites reality. From one pole to the other, from not walking to taking the first step. It was not an isolated miracle. It was conscious mastery of the law of polarity. And the scene repeats when Paul, before a young woman possessed by a spirit of divination, decides to move her back from the extreme of spiritual slavery to the pole of inner freedom. He did not need to struggle, nor force. He merely decreed, with vibrational authority, that the polarity would shift right there in that moment. Because the truth is, all suffering is only a form of energy that has not yet been transmuted. All pain is just a frequency waiting to be redirected to the pole of healing. And now, being very direct and very deep, which pole have you been nurturing? The light or the shadow? Scarcity or abundance? Fear or courage? Your life is the exact reflection of the pole you have chosen to feed. But the good news? At any moment, you can transmute. Everything in the universe follows a rhythm, a flow, a reflux, a silent dance that governs, from the cycles of stars to the beats of your own heart. Peter's imprisonment, the lashes endured by Paul, the relentless persecutions, shipwrecks at sea, cold nights, days of hunger, pain, loss. None of this were punishments, nor signs of abandonment. They were only the pendulum movement of a cosmic dance. The tide goes and returns. The spiritual winter precedes the soul's spring. The desert is only the prelude to the oasis. Every fall prepares the ground for an even greater ascent. And perhaps, at this very moment, you are at the lowest point of your own curve, the bottom of the waves, the darkest valley, the longest winter. But listen closely, because there is an immutable law working in your favor. The measure of the outward movement is the measure of the return movement. The deeper the dive, the stronger the rise. The darker the night, the brighter the dawn. Your struggle today is not the end. It is merely the low part of the wave. The flow is on its way. It comes like a breath, like a call, like an awakening. Nothing happens by chance. Chance is only the name we give to causes we do not understand. There is an invisible thread connecting everything you think, feel, say, and do to everything you experience. This is the hidden game, the silent board, where every choice is a stone thrown into the lake of your own existence, and the waves that return are only the consequences responding to the gesture. Ananias and Sapphira lied, tried to manipulate the truth, hide what they had done, and the effect was immediate. Not out of vengeance, but resonance. The lie carries within it a vibration of rupture. And when this frequency touches a heightened field of consciousness, it dissolves like a shadow before the light. On the other hand, we see Paul before a paralytic. He does not see only a limited body. He sees a soul full of faith, a mind open to possibility. And he declares, "Rise." And the man's faith, that invisible flame burning within, condenses, becomes flesh, becomes movement. Because faith is not a feeling, it is a vibrational cause that, when activated, generates effects in the physical world. The apostles planted the seed, masculine energy. Receptive hearts germinated it, feminine energy. The word, action. The heart, receptivity. And the result? Expansion. Entire communities transformed by the alchemy of giving and receiving. Within you, these two forces also await balance. How much have you allowed yourself to receive? Now, take a deep breath. Feel these principles are alive, acting around you at this very moment. The Apostles' miracles were and always will be maps, secret maps for awakening your own power. You are the architect of your reality. You are the creator of your experience. If this dive made sense to you, leave your comment with the word conscious magic, so I know you're part of our current. Like, share, and allow more seekers to find this code. Remember, the power has always been within you. Now, it is time to use it. See you in the next mystery, here on Architects of the Cosmos.